With springtime also comes tax preparation. And every time I do my taxes, I have to fork over a bunch of personal information to my tax preparation provider. How can I be sure that I'm doing that to a legitimate business and not to someone who's trying to steal my information?
So the first tip of advice that we have is to do that business in person if at all possible. It'll avoid, of course, all of the remote and virtual related tax prep scams that we monitor. You'll also be able to have somebody walk you through the process if you're new to this experience, knowing what that window of time looks like. Remember that this is sensitive information. It's very difficult to get that information back once it has been forked over to someone, regardless of who that person is. So you want to make sure that you're working with a reputable organization. They should have a concealed means of encrypting that communication such that if you are working with someone in a virtual capacity, that information is safe and secure. You also want to make sure that you're working with a trustworthy business, right? You don't want to work with a company that you've never heard of or that doesn't have any experience. So we would encourage you to look that company up on bbb.org to ensure that you're working with somebody who is worthy of your trust and consideration.
What are some of the things that maybe illegitimate organizations are using to try and bait people or trick people into using their scam service versus a legitimate tax preparation service?
So they might be impersonating reputable companies, which will make it slightly more challenging to delineate what is the reputable option versus what's the fraudulent one. However, in nearly every situation, they are asking for upfront payment before any information is even provided. That is not traditional in this industry. Typically, there is a certain amount of work that needs to be produced for a payment to be requested. So anytime upfront payment and a certain urgency, as though you need to file your taxes on that specific date, any reputable company will tell you that you have a certain window of time with which to work, and that you should make the best determination for yourself and for your loved ones. So a sense of urgency, upfront payment, and then a company you haven't heard of are typically 3 red flags to stay clear of.
We want to make sure that people avoid any of these scams in the first place. But if you have been a victim of a scam and you've suffered a financial loss, contact your local law enforcement agency. If you're in Lincoln, Lancaster County, you can contact the Lancaster County Sheriff's Office or Lincoln Police Department at 402-441-6000. But if someone hasn't been a victim and maybe they just want to share this information so someone else isn't taken advantage of, where can they report that information, Josh?
We would encourage them to go to BBB Scam Tracker. So that's bbb.org/scam tracker. You can report an experience even if you haven't actually suffered a monetary loss.